Pretty nice, huh?
Bigger than it looked in the pictures.
When I think of home, I think of a place where there's love overflowing.
You couldn't imagine a nicer place to live.
Alison, it's so good to see you having such a wonderful career. I think I talked to you when you were just a little thing so many years ago. And the variety of the roles and shows that you're doing in films is just astonishing. Do you feel like you've been pretty lucky?
I feel incredibly lucky. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in one calendar year, I was able to do Devs and Picard and started this, and it was just to have the level of writing that I've been able to perform in the last couple of years has just been such a gift. I'm really honored.
This home is ours.
This is how it begins, with one family. They came from someplace worse. We'll have to make this place worse.
I think of you as being edgy and unconventional in the work that you do. And to see you as a 50s suburban housewife, I think is the edgiest of all, especially considering her personality. How did you get a grip of her beyond scripting?
There were two important pieces to me. There was first the physical element, the look of the character, because it is, there is a level of armoring involved. There's a corset, there's a waist cincher, there's a garter, there's the crinoline, there's the costume, and then there's the wig, and so the extent of the process of getting ready before shooting was really helpful. And kind of creating the posture and the way she moves. And, she's somebody who wears heels all the time. And so that was one way in. And the other way, the sort of psychological exploration for me began with how white women do violence differently than men. That there is this, she doesn't have to raise her voice. She will use her position as a sort of automatic victim, as somebody deserving of protection in this hierarchy, that she can weaponize that and will. And so she will be very matter of fact and polite and smile and call the cops and hope that you die. And it is that it feels like a really important exploration of white womanhood and white feminism that I think LM did a really beautiful job of excavating.
Heard them folks in Compton straight up evil, man.
Fuck this.
No kidding. It's just sensational and shocking and disturbing and all of that. You have to deliver some pretty wild lines, harsh lines. And I'm wondering how you created on the set, how all of you created a safe space to do all that.
I would definitely check in with my castmates. That felt very important. And at the same time, not wanting to impose myself on their own process, because the last thing they needed was to caretake a white lady who felt bad for saying mean things,
Yeah.
It was also an interesting set because there were so many white cast members, just by way of the storytelling. There were so many days when, it was mostly white people, and sort of this awareness of whiteness in a way that it's usually invisible was really interesting. Like the ways that all Hollywood sets mostly look like that. But suddenly I look around and I'm like, white, white, white. And suddenly I'm aware of it, and it's typical invisibility in a way that I'm usually not, which was fascinating and an important thing to carry with me.
There's something bad in this house. I don't like it.
The timing couldn't be more perfect for something like this. And not only does it look at racism, it also looks at the social and cultural divide that has only been exacerbated in the last several years. Um, uh, do you think it's important that it is timely like that, or do you think it's just always been?
I think it's always been. I think the openness to conversation has increased. I think the importance of like the actual discussion of reparations in this country, like putting out legislation, like real discussion, not just, boy, racism is bad, but what can we do? What actions can we take? Because art like this will hopefully move the needle, but I also think the importance of it is how it relates viscerally to the policy decisions that are made. You know, it is interrogating the use of real estate practices and this American dream of home ownership, and really interrogating that dream and looking at the ways it's been withheld from people. And you can't help but see the echoes now in home ownership, in wealth gaps, in all of the ways, like all of the harms done in the 50s and how they play out today, all the policy decisions made then of roads and who built suburbs and white flight and where the schools, like what happened to schools, and how these decisions echo through the ages and are inextricable from life today. So yes, it's timely, but it could have come out. I mean, I guess the difference is having a showrunner who looks like Little Marvin is new. You know, like that wasn't happening 20 years ago. The story has existed and could have been told any number of years ago. But I think shifts in Hollywood and shifts in who gets to tell their stories and who we believe, you know, who we're going to give credibility and money and time to is starting to shift in a way that I think is really important and necessary.